The championship is in a crucial period as we go to the last 4 race weekends of this My Team Career Mode season, where we are once again driving as ourselves as the owner driver of our own team. Last time out, it was so crucial for Charles Leclerc getting a win, having already led the championship, just basically gaining a massive lead, whilst we had a shock second place for Isaac Hadjar in the Benetton, the highest position the Benetton team has got in Formula 1 since their return to this sport. Verstappen came third. You can see down there we're lowly in 7th place, Russell 6th, Bortoleto further down, and it means we're in a situation where the rest of us are all scratching our heads, hoping for miracles, really, or maybe not miracles, but we really all need to almost work together to defeat Leclerc. Like all 4 of us need to be outscoring Leclerc consistently for the next round to have a chance. Especially though Bortoleto, I think, is going to need maybe a miracle for him. Russell, ourselves, Verstappen, we're all close together, so maybe just us 3 are hoping to outscore him. But I mean, Leclerc looked really strong around Monza, and so you assume that he might look strong around here. It's not a very, very similar circuit, but similar characteristics here and there with the long straights, the need for greater straight line speed, and the McLaren seem to be very good at that around Baku. But also, to be fair, you got to admit, Leclerc had his fair share of luck of just kind of getting out of the DRS train, which is something that is a little bit trickier to do around Baku with the much higher tyre wear and the street circuit nature of Sector 2 especially. And you saw there for us in Q1, we were having difficulties on our first lap. We eventually got a better time in on the second run, but Baku's a tricky one. At Monza, you pick it up quite quickly. Baku, you really have to dial in like any other street circuit. You have to know when to push the limits of getting close to the walls. And it seems like, that limit was not met for the McLarens in Q1, as they were a bit lower down than they were in Monza. Stroll makes it in, Leclerc down in 12th place. But let's see what they've got when it comes to Q2. This is going to be a bit more competitive, but because we had to burn one set of tyres, another set I should say, in Q1, it means we've only got one set in Q2, in Q3. So this just became a bit of a one-shot, one and done in this qualifying session. As the sun comes down here in Azerbaijan, we cross the line for our one and only lap here in Q2. It's P4, it's 7/10 off whoever is in P1, and that ends up being Lando Norris with a 1 second clear of Russell. That's a bit nuts. So clearly the simulated times there in quali once again a bit bizarre, and it is a bit of a bizarre qualifying because Bortoleto is knocked out. We just spoke about him needing a miracle. This is the opposite. He's knocked out in P11. He might have one new soft tyre to use in the race, I guess, but that's not ideal for the Brazilian, a man, the red number 5, who, in points of this season, looked untouchable, so impressive. And so it's unraveling a little bit for the Brazilian and for Ferrari in a little way on his side of the garage, as we have now come to Q3, and correct me if I'm wrong, did they update the time of day of Baku? I don't remember it being the sun getting this low in Q3 to the point where here in the castle section, we're basically driving in the dark, essentially, because there's no floodlights for the track, basically. But that's our one and only lap. It was a pretty tidy one, I think. Gets us right there with Verstappen, just under 2/10 off our teammate. But it means we're going to be minimum maximum P5, and actually it's down to P7 as Russell comes in for pole position. But Leclerc is looking competitive. He's up there in 3rd, so puts the where maybe worries that were there in Q1 behind him. And so that's of concern to Verstappen, to myself, especially to Bortoleto, because all of us now have to make overtakes actively to try and catch up to Leclerc, who starts on the second row, alongside a pretty good day for Maloney and Aramco Honda. Liam Lawson P6. Albon in second shows the Ferrari car itself has pace. So it's just Bortoleto individually that has to answer for that poor Q2, and he's going to have to make up for it in the race. O'Sullivan makes it in, but you suspect he'll fall down the order. Let's go to the grid.
A warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku, and home, of course, of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners, and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today. So our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes, and hopefully It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who will start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Maloney, Liam Lawson and Button, Norris, Gasly, O'Sullivan, Gabriel Bortoletto, Aaron, Barnard, Isaac Hadjar and Stroll, Verstappen, Solov, Pepe Marti and Victor Martins, Doohan, Fittipaldi, Crawford and Richard Verschoor rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Well, thankfully, there's no wet weather to maybe throw a spanner in the works. Wet weather is always a nightmare around here, I feel. It makes it 10 times harder at a track like this. So many 90-degree corners, big brake zones, walls. So it's a dry race. It's very sunny as well. So that might mean the heat is on and maybe the tyre wear is definitely going to be a factor to the point where everyone, I think, is on hard tyres at the start of the race. So it's a gamble for sure in terms of it's a street circuit. You never know what can happen early doors in terms of an incident, so that could throw a spanner in the works there. But all of us on hard suggest that we're all thinking the same. Let's try and go long into the race. We want the durable tyre and the heavier fuel loads because there's more pressure being put on them, just more weight down on those tyres with the full fuel load. So all of us wanting to go a bit more durable at the start, and then we'll see if anyone dares to go on a soft at the end. Maybe it might be 2 mediums to the end as we go to 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's a good start for us. We've had some shocking ones as of late, so we really needed to make up for that, and that is going to be a much better start than we've had in the last 4 episodes. It feels like we've been going either backwards or just spinning our wheels and kind of not gaining any positions but not losing any. This time we've gained 2. We've got the Hondas off the bat up into P4. Russell maintains P1. Leclerc is going to go for the overtake on Albon. Early days. This is not good news for the rest of us. Leclerc could get up into second place, and if you're wondering where on earth Max Verstappen is, if you watch the grid sequence you'll know he had a grid penalty. So Gabriel Bortoletto and Max Verstappen, 2 friends in real life, both of them have to make up positions today as there's a safety car, an early one. And what did I say? That could be... Oh my God. Jeez. That Audi has been absolutely destroyed. And this, kids, is what happens when 2 F1 cars really love each other. One of them goes inside of the other and disappears, apparently. The 2 German cars really taking to a fancy to each other. And the Audi is out along with Doohan's shock horror. Imagine my shot as... What? On this safety car, someone's crashed. I think it was actually 2 teammates, wasn't it? Maloney and Lawson. That's a first. I've actually never experienced that. So I've never experienced there being a crash on the safety car that makes it a red flag like that. Oh no, that's embarrassing. Maloney sheared his rear left tyre on the wall, and well, his teammate's been caught up in it. And then there's a F1 centipede going on here. Some very bizarre behaviours going on, I must say. About, I think that Williams also got put in the wall, maybe. So yeah, very bizarre behaviour going on around Baku. But yeah, we've had it where it goes safety car to red flag, like instantly, like pretty quickly, because the FI determined the damage to be, too much to clear away in time. But that's a bit of a weird one. That was like a lap later, under full course caution. There was a crash like that made that a red flag. So bit of a reset then. I mean, it would have been the same with the safety car restart. Nothing's going to change too much apart from I'm going to flip it and go on to mediums. I'm going to go medium, and end on the hard that we started with. And it looks like we're the only one doing that. So surely we've got to make the most of it as we go to lights out for the second time here in Baku, and we're going to try and make the most of this quicker tyre. We get Leclerc, we can't quite get Russell. Oh, we've been spun! Leclerc's hit us. Leclerc has spun us round. The championship leader has got us backwards, but it's a red flag for the second time because there's a whole car park before turn 1, and Verstappen, I think, there was very lucky not to get caught up in that. That could have been a DNF for the Dutchman. Let's look at a replay then. So Leclerc got a really shocking start on the hard tyre. Obviously, we jumped him, and then what? Ah, that's frustrating. It's also a bit half and half because I was fully ahead, basically, but because I had to back out of Russell, Leclerc saw a gap opening and he just went for it. And by the way, here, did you see that? Verstappen can count himself lucky. How he hasn't maybe crashed himself out of the race, I don't know, because he could have easily been out there with that collision with, well, I don't think it was the other two German pairs. The German love affair is very strong today between Audi and Mercedes, clearly, as we go for a third set of fibre red lights. We are still the only car around us on mediums. Can we go for another blistering start? This time, it's not such an electric getaway. We're down in P4 because of Leclerc spinning us. In the end, that rather dramatic moment isn't going to mean a lot in this race, nor this championship with the red flag then. So, you know, all is forgiven, and we'll just try and get this overtake done and get back past Leclerc. We've got to try and get past Albon, though, to be fair. The Ferrari's got some good legs. Are we going to try and all commit to this? Yes, we are. 3 wide through that left-hander. What on that? I thought that was impossible to make work. I mean, fair play to our fellow drivers there. Albon on the right, Leclerc on the left. We somehow all survived that. But it was a kind of swap over. We were trying to get Leclerc, and we did, but then Albon got us as well. So he's up to second, and we're third place then. But we're all over the back of him because, of course, remember, we're on the medium tyre. So we should be quicker in this phase of the race. The rest of them are hards. We've got Verstappen down in P11. Bortoleto, to be fair to him, the Brazilian's done amazing. He's up to P6, so very good recovery for the number 5 Ferrari. So he can definitely have a good race from here. Verstappen's going to have still some work to do as we try and pass that other Ferrari of Albon, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Vishaw is out of this one. That's for an engine failure, not a crash, but it's certainly a race where we're all trying to survive here. There's only 15 runners, and we've only had a number of actual racing laps, but what is very apparent is that seemingly no one is taking the lead away from George Russell. He is a man on a mission in the Red Bull Ford. After a few quiet races, he's really turned up today. And to be fair, he's been really performing well compared to Gasly. Gasly's really been nowhere in the season, especially in the second half of the season. He's also had his fair share of car issues, but you know, Russell's really grown into that team leader role in only his first season back in Formula 1, remember, after 2 seasons out on the sidelines. And his first season for Red Bull Ford, as we are now gaining on him on lap 11. We've pushed away from Albon, so the mediums have still got the advantage, but very soon, I think the tyre wear is starting to creep in. Right now, the DRS is pulling us in, and we're looking for that pass on Russell, who goes defensive as we jockey for position. We nearly make contact. We're going to go for the switchback, the tighter line into turn 1. Doesn't quite work, though. We kind of sold ourselves short there because the exit wasn't great, and now we're going to have to try and do it with the second bite of the cherry. That second DRS zone now in Sector 1 on the new lap 12. Russell goes to the inside. He opens up the space on the outside. We're going to give him a wide berth on the inside to make sure there's no contact there. It's going to invite him back in, and so we have to go over the curb. We're so close to maybe putting him in the wall, but we've got faith in him. He's got faith in us, and we get up into P1 with no contact made. But you know what? We've made that overtake. Look at the rear tyres. It's time to come in. The scheduled pit stop was lap 12, and I will concur with my engineer crew. Oh my... How did we just survive that? I whacked the wall on the left with my rear tyre. We ping-ponged to the right. Somehow no damage. We hit the polystyrene board and reset the car. F1 game things. So it's a 2.4. It's a quick pit stop, but we've actually effectively lost time in that pit stop because of that weird reset of the game putting me right into the pit lane. So that could have been a disaster as we get ahead of Aaron, crucially, out the pit lane, and now looking to make a punch on Hajar on the inside. We kind of faked it from the right to the left, and this is a new set of medium tyres, and we're using it to good effect. So this is our time to get this undercut working a treat. We've gone early, a lot earlier than everyone else. For goodness sake. Fittipaldi in the wall. Every time, man. This happens so often to me on this game. There's many previous F1 games, I will admit, I have gotten so lucky with safety car timings, red flag timings. On F1 25, if you've been following this series, you'll agree, you'll know. My timing on safety cars has been awful sometimes. There's been so many instances where I have pit. I'm the only one to pit of my rivals, and I'm the only one that gets caught out with the safety car because everyone goes longer. Maybe that's maybe there's something in there. Maybe I need to be a bit more patient. But the thing is, my strategy said to come in on lap 12. I agreed because the rear tyres were absolutely shot, and I'd rather, at the time, I would have rather have not given Russell a chance to repass me for P1. Now none of that matters. Now none of that matters. Because we're down in P4. Under safety car, Russell is taking the lead again. Albon second. Leclerc third. Gasly fifth. Bortoleto sixth. So Bortoleto now is in the frame for top 5, podium maybe, with how quick that Ferrari's been. So good recovery for him. I think Verstappen on the minimap I can see is also in the top 10, maybe even top 7 just outside of Bortoleto. So maybe Verstappen's back in this. And so all of a sudden, maybe all the championship contenders are all together on the same bit of tarmac as we go for the early pass on Leclerc, somewhat abusing the, slow restart we know the AI have on this game off the safety car. They love to harvest a bit extra on the restart, but it won't matter because straight away, lap 16 onto 17, Leclerc is going to come back at us, and despite us deploying battery for most of that straight, the McLaren has the edge on us. So clearly that's the sort of pace he was showing at Monza. In a straight line, the McLaren is very, very decent as we lock up into turn 1, and Leclerc passes me. I thought we actually got him there and slammed the door shut into turn 1, but that lock-up, that puff of smoke, just took us a bit wide. And so the man from Monaco is back up into third. Albon and Russell getting away at this point. We really want to try and get this pass done to maybe now have a go at Albon, but if you may have noticed, Leclerc under the safety car pit for mediums. The rest of them are on hard still, so Leclerc is actually on equal pace with me at this point in terms of the tyres. And so it's a bit harder to get away from him. And so with this nice aerial shot, you're also seeing, though, look at Gasly from nowhere. As we have 0% battery. We are getting rinsed by this McLaren in the straight line. He is making us use all of our energy here, as it almost seems like we're simulating the 2026 battery use, as we were having to really be very careful with it. And I'm trying to be very aggressive into these corners to try and outbrake Leclerc, because that seems to be the only place I can get him on the straights. The McLaren has the edge, it seems, as we slam the door shut there. And Gasly does exactly what I wanted him to do and overtakes him. He follows me through, and so we sling Pierre Gasly on Leclerc to try and hopefully get some breathing room. Alas, that's not going to happen. On lap 18, there's now 4 cars close together because Gabriel Bortoleto has joined the party as we box in Leclerc on the left with Pierre Gasly. There goes Gabriel Bortoleto. 1, 2, 3 overtakes maybe for Bortoleto. That might be unreal stuff for him. He can't quite get Gasly, but he's got both me and Leclerc. Oh! Leclerc slams into the Ferrari. No damage, I don't think. No damage for the McLaren. What the hell have they made that McLaren out of? They need to have a discussion with Mercedes, clearly, about the construction material, because the Mercedes car has been made of absolutely blue tack and paper mache so far in the season. But we're up into P5 now. Did you hear that wheel spin, though? The wheel spin's pretty strong, and the tyre wear's coming in now for us and Leclerc, as Leclerc's actually going to come in on that lap. So Leclerc's actually maybe taking some inspiration from myself earlier in the race and coming in earlier for an undercut. You might say maybe we've left ourselves vulnerable here to Leclerc because of that undercut, but I think because we're so close to Bortoleto, we can get pulled along with DRS, and we could actually still be ahead of Leclerc by the time we come round, as Verstappen This is Verstappen jumping Leclerc in the pits. What's happened there? Oh, Leclerc's behind Martins. Something's happened in the pits. We didn't see it. I think there's been a mistake on the pit stop for McLaren and Leclerc because he's not only behind Verstappen, Verstappen undercut him because Verstappen pit on lap 17, I think it was, or 18, but Martins, who wasn't ahead of Leclerc before, is now ahead of him. So there must have been a mistake on the pit stop for McLaren as we're now in on lap 21, having extended by a lap or two, and we're going to go aggressive. We're going on to a U set of soft tyres as Verstappen sets a purple. He's finally arrived in this race then, and he's ahead of us. Verstappen, after all of this, down outside the top 10 for most of the race, he's ended up ahead of me. That's a bit of a head scratcher. He's had an unreal undercut, Max Verstappen has, in that last stint. So it's Russell in first, Albon second, Verstappen third, we're in fourth place. Leclerc is P5, he's got back ahead of Martins, but Gasly and Bortoleto, they've now made their pit stops, and Gasly is right behind them. Bortoleto will have some work to do. He's lost a bit of pace as Pierre Gasly goes for the move straight away. Oh, this is a surprise. The Frenchman straight out the pits on cold tyres, going for the move on the McLaren. The Red Bull Ford goes round the outside. He's up into fifth place. Gasly, that's an incredible overtake, to be fair, considering the context of his tyre attempt, as Bortoleto now is going to get on the back of Martins. We cut to the onboard here to see is the replay camera angle, let me tell you, was horrendous for this part. So we're going to cut to the onboard to see this move done. Bortoleto ahead, and he's up to P7 as Gasly is pulling away from Leclerc. Leclerc is struggling on this last set of tyres. What's happened at the pit stop? What did they make a front wing adjustment or something and it slowed him down? Well, I don't know what's going on now, but Leclerc is not looking quick anymore off that final pit stop. It's all falling away from him. Bortoleto up into P6. Is the pressure of leading the championship by a massive margin getting to Leclerc? Is he going too soft? Is he playing it too safe, I wonder? Only time is going to tell as we go on to the second last lap of the race, and it's a kamikaze dive to try and repass Gasly because I'm on used softs. So I wanted to go aggressive. In hindsight, there was no point. I was never catching Verstappen because he's woken up and he's got some insane pace on that medium of his. And I am struggling now to keep Gasly behind because I don't have the tyre wear. This is a used tyre from Q2, Q1 maybe, and Gasly clearly has the traction. You can even hear the wheel spin I've got. And now Bortoleto is joining us. Remember, Bortoleto is on a soft, but remember, he qualified P11. So the soft he's on is brand spanking new. It's the one he didn't use in Q3. So that's why Bortoleto looks quicker than me on the same compound, as we're now playing a little bit of chicken and cat and mouse game here. I tried to basically actively be behind Gasly. And in a funny way, I don't know if you saw that, I think his AI also tried to slow up and be the car behind, because effectively, if you're behind at this little kink, you're going to get the overtake done, as we do on Gasly. My problem is, though, Bortoleto's got a double slipstream. Leclerc's even in the mixer. I think even Martins is there. There's like 5 cars here on this one straight, and Bortoleto launches on the inside. We go wide, and that is the difference between a new and a used soft tyre. Bortoleto minces us into turn 1. We're down to P5. Wheel spin, you heard it there very audibly, and so Bortoleto might just finish in P4 here. I don't think I have the minerals to catch up to him. We're on the last lap anyway, so this is it, do or die stuff. But look at every single corner. Bortoleto is subtly pulling away, and we're having a drift, 2 drifts off the exit. I'm in no shape to overtake Bortoleto. We're going to have to settle for P5. And oh, did you see that little drift from Gabriel, to be fair? So everyone's having a little bit of a drift in the last on the last lap. We might have to try and defend P5 with our lives, as it's going to be George Russell. We have not seen him for pretty much the entire race. He has dominated things here in Baku, determined as ever to try and come back in the championship. Albon second, Verstappen, an insane recovery for third, Bortoleto as well, and here we are then, side by side with Leclerc, on purpose not deploying battery, because we want to be the car behind because we need that DRS. We need the slipstream. Otherwise, we could be as low as P8. But Pierre Gasly has other ideas. He's looked at me and Leclerc playing a bit of a game, and he's just bolted for it. So Gasly goes round the outside. Let's not panic, though. Can we get Leclerc on the outside? We're going to do it. Oh, big hit to the wall. Leclerc is slow. Martins on the last lap gets him as we get the DRS we wanted. And on the last straight, we get Gasly. We get up into P5. But the drama there was as we pulled off that pretty insane outside pass on Leclerc, he actually understood the wall and Martins overtook him. That overtake could be very crucial by the end of the season, mark my words.
A superb drive from the talented George Russell, who takes the checkered flag.
A great display of dominance today by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
An insane drive for Russell. P1, never saw him really, but a big drive for Verstappen, Bortoleto, and it means now there's only 3 points between Russell and Leclerc. Leclerc's gap has been eroded in one race by Russell. There's still a bit of a decent gap to me, to Verstappen, to Bortoleto, so all three of us have some work to do. But Russell, he's been the biggest winner today. He's brought that back, and it's game on for him and Leclerc. The rest of us still have work to do. Guys, though, if you've enjoyed the episode, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.